History Month mean to you, and in that context, the Black Lives Matter movement mean to you and your organisation?
When we talk about race, it's often about the troubles of race, and Black History Month is the time when you don't do that. Black History Month is when you celebrate. It's about people celebrating their difference and their inclusion.
I totally agree with you. My answer was about celebrating the people that I admire and trying to, in some way, kind of learn from their life lessons and trying to bring it into my own life and my own truth, which I think is always kind of really inspiring. What has your organisation done to reduce those kind of racial inequalities that we do see that don't always bring us together, through your lens, and I suppose through the lens of COVID, which is supposed to be one of the most impactful things on my community in the last couple of months?
COVID lens coinciding with the Black Lives Matter resurgence, it shone a real light, and it gave everybody a reason for having conversations that in other times might be uncomfortable. In fact, for a lot of people, when we had those conversations, they were uncomfortable, particularly in my service. We are in and out of people's homes every day in a couple of thousand times a day. And during that time, what we're looking for is things that aren't normal, that might explain an injury, an illness, or anything along those lines. And of course, when you go into a household that is familiar to you, you can do that. You can spot what's unusual. When you go into a household that that's a different cultural background, about how we get that awareness and spread that, there's only one real answer, and that is to have the culture in everyday life. So surround yourself by it. And the welfare conversations have been the vehicle for starting that. I wish they weren't. I wish it didn't take that for us to have those conversations, but at least we've started.
As a leader of a large organisation, what personal steps have you taken that influences the leadership over your organisation to address racial inequality?
I've been the chief exec here for about a year. On arrival, I made sure that I took the chairmanship of the inclusion boards and the groups, either the chairman of the trust or I. And the reason that I did that is because I looked at our inclusion action plan, and it looked pretty same over the last few years, which normally means that it's not got the weight behind it. So that was the first thing. Second thing, I was very clear that I was going to set an example in recruitment. The very first time that I had a gap in my own team, I deliberately went out of my way to try and find a really representative group of attendees, and I was delighted that I was able to appoint not only the best candidate, but that best candidate came from the BAME community. So that to me, a couple of really early just examples to people, and then I have been really clear on the fact that we never walk on by. When we see things that are wrong, we stop. If you walk past, you're accepting that behaviour, you're condoning that behaviour.
It's always important to call it out when you see it, and I think that's one of the things that we need to start doing a lot more, I think. Thank you very much, Philip, for taking the time out to again join us in this journey.